Divine Sphere. Let's go. So Unyielding Sentinel. So we're going to talk about the Divine Sphere real quick and kind of sum up what it is and why it's good. Divine. You've got Divine Crusader, Exalted Angel, and Unyielding. Divine Crusader is supposed to be all about meleeing guys, doing a bunch of damage, being melee, and being divine. It's fine. It's just worse Legendary Dreadnought, and I'll talk about why in a second. Exalted Angel is one of the best epic destinies in the whole game. It is super powerful. It gives spell DCs. It gives healing. It gives resistances, defenses, and saves. And it gives the ability to resurrect itself from the dead. As a result, it's one of the best trees you can get, and a lot of people run it. Currently, right now, there's pretty much no reason to run anything other than Exalted Angel. In fact, Exalted Angel is so good, intelligence-based spellcasters will still run an Exalted Angel. That's how good Exalted Angel is. Your wizards want to run an Exalted Angel. That's dumb. And Unyielding Sentinel is a tank tree. It's supposed to make you tanky. And it does that pretty good. Let's see what's changed. Well, Unyielding Sentinel is where we're going to start. To go from here, it gives more threat than it did before. So now it has 300% threat instead of 150%, which is cool. Stand Against the Tide's extra hate jumps to 50% per stack. So you get 250% extra hate at each stack. Which, you get stacks while you stand still, basically. Stand Against the Tide's extra hate now applies to missile weapon damage and magic damage, which is previously melee only. Interesting. Divine Energy Resistance can now be cast directly on allies instead of only on yourself. I didn't even know that was the case. Ward Against Evil's light damage, and it scales with 400% of melee or range power. Interesting. How much is the light damage from Ward Against Evil? I don't even know if you would take it, because it's really high. Ward Against Evil is a tier 5. So when monsters attack you, they have a 100 hit or miss, 100% chance to take 10d6 good damage that scales 400% off your melee or range power. So let's just hypothetical here and say that you can get 200 melee power on the character like this. Can you? How much melee power do you get from the cores? You get 4 melee power. All right, let's say 150 melee power, okay? So 150 melee power, and they take 10d6s when they hit you. So 10d6 is 10 times 3.5, which is the average of a d6. So it's on average 35 damage when they attack you. And if you have 150 melee power and you're scaling it by 400%, that's as though you had 600 melee power, so you're going to multiply this by 7. So every time you get hit or missed, you're going to bounce back 245 light damage. The only question I have is, does this damage that you are reflecting apply threat? If it does, this is definitely worth taking. If it doesn't, it might not be worth taking. So I don't know. That will be. I don't know if guard effects apply threat. If they do, it's really good. Rank 3 of Ward Against Evil gives you immunity to crowd control. It's kind of cool. You can now use Undying Vanguard while crowd controlled. Undying Vanguard's temporary hit points last longer, which is good. And now you have 2 new attacks. So T4, draw them out. Melee attack, which adds 300 hate to the user to creatures it hits on top of its normal damage. And you have Celestial Mandate plus 5W attack, and this attack adds 2,000 hate to the user. So hate is the same thing as damage. 1 point of damage equals 1 point of hate. So this is though you just hit the guy for 2,000. Now as a tank, you don't generally hit people for 2,000. But as a tank, what you do have is, what is it, like almost 1,000% additional threat. You get 300% from here and a whole bunch of other places. You get so much additional aggro. Just this tree alone can give you 550% additional aggro. So that would bring this as though you would hit the target for 11,000 damage. Just go boof, and every 6 seconds you go whoosh, whoosh. So which means tanks can now actively melee to hold threat on targets, which is very, very cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of that. Celestial Mandate gets a big +1 from me. So this should help out tanks for tanking things that can't be intimidated, like constructs or certain types of undead. So can't wait to see some of this going on in Sharn, because it's hard to do. Next, Exalted Angel. The only thing that happened, Reborn in the Light no longer charges and is now once per rest, which means it got a nerf. RIP. You used to be able to charge this super duper fast, but now it doesn't charge super duper fast. It has a 10-minute cooldown, and you can only use it once a day. RIP. RIP, rip, rip. That's dead. Cool. One of the things I want to touch on before we start talking about Divine Crusader, Exalted Angel's not dead. It's still good, but man, that sucks. One of the reasons why Divine Crusader is not good and not good enough is because it doesn't give the right stats. It gives a ton of Double Strike, and Double Strike is fine, but Double Strike is a finite stat. It has a limit on cap, right? So, and the reason why I say that is because you can get 100% Double Strike, and then you can't get any more. Unlike Double Shot, which goes beyond and you just fire additional shots, Double Strike doesn't. So their top capstone ability, Zeal of the Righteous, has this problem where you gain 50 stacks of Zeal of the Righteous, which is the buff. And each stack gives you spell power, double strike, double shot, melee power, and range power. So you get 50 spell power, 50 double strike, 50 double shot, 50 melee power, 50 range power. It's very cool, but the problem is that 50 double strike means nothing most of the time. You're generally going to be playing a character like this. You're going to be having your double strike close to 100% because it's very easy to do nowadays with current gear, which means this stat is completely useless. So that kind of cuts out almost 50% of the effectiveness of this enhancement, and you don't see that coming out of Legendary Dreadnought, so I don't know. If this was plus 50% like physical resistance rating, or add 1 physical resistance rating each one, I'd consider using it, but man, not good. And it's just not good enough. It doesn't do enough. So let's see what it does now. Castigation's damage works against bosses, and Castigation now grants its listed melee power. What the heck is Castigation? Look at me, I don't even know. Castigation. Aura of Purification. It works on bosses now, who take a d6 bane damage per stack. Cool. Works. Neat. No Regret grants its listed melee power. Where's No Regret? Apparently this didn't give melee power. Apparently this also gives melee power. Cool. Strike Down's tooltip now correctly says it deals light, and now Strike Down's light damage now scales with 200% melee power. Hey, Strike Down is this effect right here, where you deal a bunch of, which does 500 light damage. Now instead of being a flat 500, it scales 200% with melee power. Very, very, very good as an attack. Big fan of that. Confront Any Foe adds plus 3W and scales with 300% melee power. Oh, I gotta look up this now. Where's Confront Any Foe? I don't know this at all. Expend a turn to deal 10d10 light damage on hit that scales with melee power. Wow, that's kind of really good. I would consider using this all the time. Look at that damage. 10d10 damage. That's 55 average. Not bad in an AoE. That scales with 300% melee power. Smite the Wicked's light damage is now 100 against evil creatures and 100 against undead. Undead evil, take both, and it scales. Smite the Wicked now destroys undead and evil outsiders, unavoidable, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of just minor changes. Sanity Be Judged now has a DC of 10 plus wisdom plus character plus stunning. We made it more reliable and faster a few updates ago. Sanity Be Judged. I've never used this. Or be stunned for 30 seconds. What? Stunned? I didn't even know that was an option to get stunned for 30. Wow. Celestial Bombardment now has 1 rank instead of 3. It still does the same thing. It costs 20. Dude, this costs 20. Celestial Bombardment used to cost 300, 200, to 100. Now it costs 20. This spell is 1 rank. Oh my god. That's insanity. It now takes Enlarge, Maximize, Empower, Intensify, Embolden, and Quicken, and is significantly quicker to cast. I don't know if that's going to make Celestial Bombardment good, but if that doesn't make Celestial Bombardment good, then this spell is the worst spell in the universe. I'm very excited to try this out. Celestial Champion got moved over a bit. Cool. And Celestial Champion's double shot, strike, and double shot are sacred, so they actually stack, which is also very good because it's enhancement, so it didn't actually stack with items. Hilarious. And then we have the Book of War. Pick one of the following weapons against a favorite weapon. Longsword, Longbow, Morningstar, or Greatsword. Cool. So the reason why this is neat is that if you don't happen to have a favorite weapon, say you're playing as like a non-paladin, you can pick this to gain a favorite weapon. And if you don't happen to have a favorite weapon, then this allows you to, if you happen to have a favorite weapon, but you want to try something else, like say you're playing as a cleric, and you're like, man, I want to have like longbow and also longsword because I want to do both. No worries, you can do that. And you have Book of War, Wrath of the Divine. While wielding a favorite weapon in your main hand, gain +1 hit and damage for every 2 religious lore feats you have with all equipped weapons and shields. Oh my god! Do you see this? Hey, check it out. I'm your boy Paladin coming up in the house. And Paladin, are they good? Well, they're fine. They're okay at best. But check it out. Hey, look at me. I got Book of War. Now I got +10 to hit and damage. With my weapons and my shields. Vanguards, let's go. This is really good. This is insanity. This is so good. You might want to play Divine Crusader. That's how good it is. Wow. And then there's the other stuff. I don't know if this is good enough to make Paladin really, really good. But man, +10 to hit and damage is nothing to shake your head at. That's super duper powerful. So only time will tell. So we'll have to check it out.